Welcome to Alphanumeric, the fiction and poetry podcast featuring pieces selected from the award-winning NonBinary Review.
The Chalupa Gangsta, a story transcribed for podcast by Matt McGee. And now, the Chalupa Gangster.
I agreed to go with Matt to look at a used car. We'd just finished a ridiculously long drive out to a place even coyotes don't bother with, and stopped in front of a building that looked suspiciously like a wrecking yard. I looked around, my mouth slightly unhinged. Matt reached beneath the seat of his rented SUV, swung his arm like a crane in one of those claw games, and dropped his prize in my lap.
You know how to use one of those?
The hell? The revolver was buttoned in its sheath like my old Jansport backpack. It didn't weigh much, but my hand suddenly did. Sometimes instinct just tells you, stay perfectly still, because there's no way you're going to leave your fingerprints behind. I pushed at the bridge of my glasses. They hadn't slipped down, it's just a habit. And at that moment, I needed something to touch beside the gun. "Bring a hoodie," Matt had texted. It had been hot as hell lately, and despite every AC unit in the city cranked up to 11, my core temperature was still hovering around max. I reached in the back of my closet and grabbed the gray hoodie I keep for walks home from Taco Bell on chilly nights. Now, it was bundled in my lap, with a .38 plopped in its folds. "I said I'd come with you to look at a car. I didn't say I'd be Bonnie to your Clyde." Matt pointed at the building, built in the middle of nowhere like a spaceship that had been dropped from the sky.
You don't know who's going to come out of there.
He had a point. This building wasn't some used car lot on a well-lit boulevard. You know, the kind where the salesman will be there next week if your radiator cracks or the electric window starts smoking when you're stopped at a red light. You'd been hoping to impress someone cute next to you with your new wheels. And now you've got warranty questions. And who's around to help? Probably no one in this building out in the friggin' boondocks. Matt had insisted on a car with a manual transmission. No one drives a stick in LA traffic. He drives mostly at night, though, when the roads are wide open and he can indulge his love for speedy manuals. He also says it's a built-in theft device. Months of fruitless searches brought us here, 15 miles into a remote land where bodies likely get dumped and the high-tension power lines stretch from huge, ambitious solar farms in the desert back to LA. Long, brown, grassy canyons curved and flowed past our windows like a woman's hips, reaching further than the eye could see, hovering over us as we'd driven along. The roads belonged to double-trailer gravel trucks, their undercarriages stained with the dust and silt of 3 local quarries. Then we rounded a corner, and up popped this place. I looked around. All I had seen until this point was a towering piece of concrete that looked like a set of stairs. Only the stairs didn't go anywhere, and all the land around it was barren and wide open for almost a full mile in every direction. Nothing out here made any sense to me. Starlight Motors had a genuinely modern 400-square-foot cinder-block office. There's Wi-Fi, a satellite dish on the roof, glossy black walls, and freshly tinted windows. From the front parking lot, it looks okay, but the building is just the head of a bloated tick, leeching off the automotive industry. Behind that modernish office lies 100 acres of cars, fenced in by chain link and topped with razor wire that stretches into the horizon. What they sell is stored with all the love and care of a sun-baked junkyard on the edge of California's low desert, where land is cheap and history doesn't seem to exist. I started dreaming of the safe, cool drive-through that I usually would have been working in. And now I had the shiny .38 revolver staring up at me. I tucked it in the front pocket of my hoodie.
We can go back to the gun range for an hour.
I don't need practice.
Right on, gangsta. Need a minute?
What am I doing here? I work in a drive-thru. Chalupas and extra sauce packets are my thing.
Not today. Today, You're the Chalupa Gangsta. Just keep that hoodie up, keep your head down, and look badass.
I am badass. Matt reached under the seat again. My heart leapt, wondering what might come out next. Bazooka? Flamethrower? IUD? He set a manila envelope on the rented SUV's dash.
There's a cashier's check in there for $4,600 should I buy the car. I'm going in there. Keep your head down like you're napping. Just don't nap.
Don't nap.
Keep your eyes peeled. Engine's running, AC's on. Don't unlock these doors for anyone except me. Any sign of trouble, you got that to bail you out.
Can I go home now?
No. Everything works out, we'll be gone in half an hour. You'll be driving this lovely SUV back to town, and I'll be in my brand new to me Mazda 3.
Or
we shoot a few bad guys.
Ugh.
And you go back to the night shift at the Bell.
Like nothing happened.
What?
I said, go get him, Tiger. Matt stepped out, went to the glass pane of the office door and tapped a knuckle on it. The door opened. A hand stuck out. Matt shook it, then he disappeared inside. I raised my hoodie and lowered my head. I kept my eyes fixed on the bloated tick's door. If only I had laser eyes, I could cut the place in half, like those memes. Yeah! If I had laser eyes, I could zap bad guys. Cut open the fence like... Someone tapped the glass beside me. I bounced. The gun, still in its sheath, weighed down the front of the hoodie. I lowered the window a crack. I didn't tilt my eyes at the guy.
Hey, little lady. You looking for someone?
I'm good. I rolled the window back up, bowed my head monk style. Damn you, non-laser eyes. He tapped again. What? He held up his hands and stepped away. Where did that come from? Natural badassery, that's where. Chalupa Gangsta, bitch. The guy typed in a code and went into the office. A few minutes later, Matt returned and tapped his knuckle on my window. I lowered it a few more inches than with the other guy.
They're bringing the car out so I can test drive it. How you doing?
Chalupa thug life, yo.
Okay. Glad you're enjoying your day out. Look, I'm going to take the car down to Sand Canyon, put it through its paces. While I'm gone, same rules. Unlock for no one. Don't make friends.
No problem there. Matt looked off toward where the road curved around a sloping, grassy hillside.
Did you happen to notice that big concrete thing out in the middle of nowhere that we passed on the way in?
The stair-looking thing? Yeah.
Well, it wasn't stairs.
What was it?
Well, while you're sitting, why don't you Google up Fillmore Dam Break? Read up on a little history.
Gravel crunched under his Columbia shoes as he stepped away. I rolled up the window. A gate soon slid open, its silver casters clattering along metal tracks like a retractable levee. Matt stood to one side while a gray Mazda sedan rolled through the gate. The car needed a paint job. Bad. But I guess stick buyers can't be choosers. The guy who'd knocked on my window stepped out of the Mazda, held the door for Matt, and watched him drive away. Matt shifted and steered away like a pro. The guy went back behind the gate. It closed behind him with a bang. I pulled out my cell. I jumped on the dealer's Wi-Fi, went to YouTube, and watched that scene from Pulp Fiction where John Travolta and Samuel L. Jackson ditched their Nova in a junkyard run by, what's-her-name, the cute lady from SNL. I read the comments. Julia Sweeney, right. After they ditch the car, they end up in a diner that gets robbed. I looked down the empty road where Matt had gone, behind endless rolling brown hills. What had he said? Oh yeah, I Googled. Fillmore Dam Break. Amazing what you can live right on top of and never know about. All around us in L.A. is a series of channels we call the L.A. River, towering concrete floodways. The guy who designed it all, William Mulholland, also built a thing called the St. Francis Dam. On a beautiful night in 1928, just 2 years after it opened, the dam broke in the middle of the night, just a few miles from this junkyard/car lot. According to Wikipedia, huge chunks of the St. Francis Dam are still lying around. I looked around. I didn't see anything. I scrolled for more pictures. There was the staircase we'd passed, still reaching toward heaven, stranded almost 2 full miles from where the dam had been. The force of the rushing water had moved it all the way down the canyon. I turned my head just in time to see Matt and the Mazda come back around the corner like an F1 out of hell. I imagined it moving through the canyons like a 10-story wall of water once did, or maybe that blood from the elevator in The Shining. I was about to step out to meet him, the way Bogey or Bacall would have done at a train depot. But just as I reached for the door handle, the guy who delivered the car slid back through the rolling fence. Behind his back, in his right hand, I could see a small black object. He had a Glock. Ah, sweet mother of cinnamon twists. I knew what he was up to. Matt had backed the Mazda in. The guy was approaching from Matt's blind spot. I leapt from the SUV, ducked behind its bumper, and pointed the gun like that lady on SVU. "Drop it, ass munch!" I don't know if that's what Mariska Hargitay would have said, but the guy stopped and turned. Matt looked at me too.
I thought I told you.
Then Matt saw it, and I saw it too. I ripped away the gun sheath and threw it aside. I waved the .38 like I was serious now. Seeing the guy I was covering, Matt pulled a .22 from his waistband.
Do what the nice lady says, and she won't send you to the big drive-thru in the sky.
Chalupa style, bitch! Pretty sure Mariska Hargitay wouldn't have said that. The guy set the gun on the Mazda's trunk, lifted his hands, and slowly stepped away. Matt retrieved the guy's gun, checked the safety, and put it in his own waistband.
Well, I'd say we earned ourselves a nice little discount. Wouldn't you agree?
Abso-fucking-lutely. Matt looked at me. He'd actually been talking to the guy. I lowered the gun and got back in the truck. I set the gun in my lap and lowered my head. I missed my drive-thru. Soon after, I was driving the SUV following Matt's newly acquired faded Mazda. Matt called and I put him on speakerphone.
Nice work back there, Chalupa style.
Let's not make that my new nickname. I gotta admit, I've never had to do that at the Bell. Ever. Mostly all I get is the smell of beans and hot sauce up my nose. Doesn't leave until like 2 hours after work's over, and even then...
Anyway, we'll go straight to the DMV and register the car. Then we'll go eat.
I squirmed. My work is right next to the DMV.
Don't worry, we're not doing cheesy roll-ups tonight. I'd say we earned P&L burger.
French toast! I raised both fists off the wheel. And wouldn't you know, that was the moment I had to slam on the brakes. Traffic had stopped. I missed Matt's bumper by inches. "Sorry!" I shouted at the phone. It had bounced onto the floor somewhere.
I've had that rental 8 weeks at $50 a day.
I picked up the cell off the floor. $50? A day?
And I just got this. Try not to wreck it before it's registered, gangsta.
I was just excited about breakfast. Traffic started to move again. Matt and the Mazda rolled away.
You always get this excited about food?
He had no idea. The day that Mexican pizzas came back, I clocked in 4 hours early just to be a part of the scene. And it had been a scene. We'd had a banner and everything. We returned the rental. The newly registered, heavily faded, and stick-equipped Mazda stood outside P&L Burger. The French toast was soft and gooey like it always is. Deliciousness in your face, with syrup. Did you see how I drew on that guy?
Once you got the cover off your gun, yeah, you did fine. We're just lucky he didn't have a friend come around and flank you.
Flank? Is that like how you cook a steak?
No, it's when someone sneaks up on you.
No one's gonna flank me. I'm the Chalupa Queen.
Yeah, I saw.
I read about that dam. The St. Francis? Pretty scary how you can suddenly be wiped off the face of the earth without any say.
Do we ever have a say?
I hope so. I'd like to think I won't just get washed away in the middle of the night, that my life is going to end up meaning something to someone.
I'm sure it will. But then again, who knows? Maybe we should just get our kicks in now before this whole thing goes up in flames.
I was just about to answer when suddenly the guy in the next booth jumped on the seat and waved a gun around the room.
Everybody be cool, this is a robbery.
I turned to Matt. He kept eating his pancakes. Oh my God, it's just like the movie.
Which movie?
Pulp Fiction.
He doesn't have Tim Roth's accent.
You say something, buddy?
I hate to burst your bubble, but this ain't the first time today I've had a gun in my face.
Just like the movie, and I'm Julia Sweeney.
You say something, pretty lady?
I'm not that pretty.
Not the first gun she's seen today either. She's the Chalupa Gangsta.
The what? Shut up.
The robber stepped away. He took everyone's wallets, emptied the register, and sprinted across the lot, past the faded Mazda, around the side of the Taco Bell where I'd usually be handing bags out the window. Matt jumped up. He yanked the yard guy's .22 out of his waistband and sprinted NFL style after the guy. I jumped up and followed. Gotta earn that nickname. 200 feet later, I slumped sideways, huffing and puffing beside the Bell's dumpster corral. I don't know why they call them corrals. It never smells like horses and hay, just rotting sauce and Baja Blast cooking in the sun. I put the gun away so no one inside would see. I'm not made for gangsta stuff. I looked up at the doors of the Bell, the purple booths, the AC that would feel so good about now. I looked at my watch. Maybe they'd let me come in early.
The Chalupa Gangsta was written and directed by Matt McGee, recorded at Free Mind Studios by Marcin Yadashevsky, and starred Lucia Lemieux, Matt Zone, Jeff Levinson, and Don Beckland. Playing the part of Kayla is Lucia Lemieux. Playing the part of Matt is Matt Zone. Playing the part of Bart is Don Beckland. And playing the part of the robber is Jeff Levinson.
This has been The Chalupa Gangsta by Matt McGee, read for you by a full cast with music by the author. Alphanumeric is a production of Zoetic Press. You can find other stories by Matt McGee in Issue 14, Hans Christian Andersen, and Issue 31, Food, by heading over to our store at zoeticpress.com. If you love us as much as we love you, please support us by going to Apple Podcasts and giving us a rating and leaving us a swell review. We would appreciate you so much. You should also subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. Non-Binary Review, because humans are hardwired to tell stories.